For years, Starlux Airlines was the airline of fun, friendly collaborations. We're talking Snoopy, we're talking Spider-Man, stuff everyone loves. But their latest move, it's completely flipped the script. They've swapped out those wholesome characters for this. And it seems like it came out of nowhere, but as we're about to see, this is one of the most calculated bets in the airline industry right now. I mean, just look at this contrast. On the left, you've got the Starlux we all knew. Safe, big name characters, mass appeal. Easy. And on the right, that's their new direction. They're diving into the world of Hajime Sorayama, a legendary artist famous for his hyper-realistic and, often provocative, sexy robots. This is so much more than a new paint job. It's a total reinvention of who they are. And here they are, the two guys behind this whole wild pivot. Starlux chairman K.W. Chang and the artist himself, Hajime Sorayama. What they're doing together is a first for the airline, launching these fully painted art planes, basically turning a giant fuselage into a canvas for Sorayama's iconic metallic style. So the obvious question is, why, right? Why would you ditch a winning formula, a safe, popular strategy, for something so niche and, let's be honest, kind of edgy? Well, the answer isn't about just looking cool. It's about fixing a really serious problem that was hiding right under the surface. It all boils down to this, a hidden weakness in their business. See, even with that popular image and all those seemingly full flights, there's a very specific kind of passenger that Starlux just could not get on their planes. The data here tells such a fascinating story. On routes that are all about leisure, think flights to Japan, Starlux is a monster success. Their planes are over 80% full, often crushing the older legacy airlines. But then you look at business-heavy routes, like to Jakarta, and that number just plummets. We're talking down to around 60%. That's a huge drop, and it puts them way behind their competitors. So here's the whole problem in a nutshell. Starlux is a total hit with tourists and families, no question. But they have this major blind spot when it comes to the high-paying, frequent-flying business traveler. And that's a problem that really, really hurts the bottom line. And the reason for this problem is pretty simple. Starlux is trying to play the traditional frequent flyer game. And that's a battle that a young airline like them, they just can't win it right now. Just think about how a typical corporate traveler chooses an airline. It's all about pure practicality. They need a massive route network. They need tons of flights every day for flexibility. And the big one, the real clincher, powerful loyalty programs. These folks are locked into earning miles that they can use across a whole global airline alliance for upgrades and free trips. And this is exactly where Starlux hits a brick wall. Their network, it's still growing. Their flight frequency, it can't match the giants. And crucially, they are not part of a major airline alliance. So for that road warrior who lives and dies by their frequent flyer miles, there's basically zero reason to switch over to Starlux. So what do you do if you can't win the game you're in? Simple. You invent a whole new one. And that's what Starlux is doing. They're making this brilliant strategic pivot to go after a completely different type of high-value customer. Over on the left, you've got that traditional business traveler, right? Their decisions are all logic and loyalty points. But over on the right, that's Starlux's new target, the atypical premium guest. This person isn't motivated by miles. They're motivated by brand, by the experience, by style. So who is this person? Well, art expert Hugh Shi Wei paints a really clear picture. They're designers, engineers, and especially collectors. People who collect luxury cars and high-end watches. They have this deep love for mechanical, metallic designs. They might not be flying every single week for work, but when they do travel, they've got the money, and they're absolutely willing to pay more for an experience that feels like an extension of their own personal brand. And this, right here, is why that Sorayama partnership is so brilliant. It is not just a marketing gimmick. It's a calculated, long-term strategy to build a brand that means something more than just getting you from point A to point B. Starlux's head of PR, Liang Wenlong, basically laid out the entire strategy with this quote. It's so blunt. He knows that if you don't have a strong brand, all you can do is compete on price, and that's a race to the bottom. So Starlux is betting on identity, on building a brand that's so cool it can command a higher price all by itself. And there's some really solid business thinking to back this up. Professor Lin Chun Sheng from National Taiwan University calls an airline ticket a high-involvement product. Think about it. You don't just impulse buy a flight, right? You research, you compare, you weigh your options. And when all the practical stuff starts to look the same, a really distinctive brand can be the one thing that cuts through all that noise and grabs you. But here's the big question, isn't it? Can style alone actually seal the deal? I mean, getting these new, cool customers to try Starlux one time is one thing, but keeping them, that's the real test of this whole strategy. Because, a slick paint job might turn heads on the tarmac, but as Professor Lin points out, it's the experience you have at 30,000 feet that actually builds loyalty. The brand makes a promise, but at the end of the day, the service is what has to deliver on it. And so this is the fascinating gamble that Starlux is taking. They're betting that a powerful niche brand can build them a loyal tribe of fans and let them just sidestep a game they can't win right now. And it all comes down to this one question. In the incredibly tough world of airlines, can a unique style create lasting loyalty, or does good old-fashioned service always win the long game?
喜欢这种学习方式，欢迎订阅我的频道，让我们一起用下一个10分钟把商业英文变简单。